Let's be real for a second. We're always told to love ourselves. But what does that even mean? Is it just bubble baths and motivational quotes? Or is there something more to it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through the noise. We're diving into the actual psychology behind real, practical self-love and giving you the tools to build a genuinely better relationship with yourself.
And that's a fair question, right? The term gets thrown around so much, it can start to feel kind of empty, maybe even a little self-indulgent. But what if it's not about hashtags? What if it's actually a core skill for mental health, one that's backed up by proven therapeutic techniques? That's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, so let's get a solid definition on the table. Our source workbook defines self-love as the practice of valuing and caring for yourself. And listen, that word practice is the whole key. This isn't some feeling you just magically achieve one day. Nope. It's an active, ongoing process. It's a set of skills you build over time to become more resilient and to see yourself more clearly. So, our journey starts with the first of three big ideas: rewriting your inner script. This is all about that nonstop conversation we have in our own heads. You know the one I'm talking about? That inner critic that just loves to pipe up with, "You're gonna bomb this," or "You're not smart enough." Well, we're gonna learn how to talk back using a really powerful tool from Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, or CBT.
So, that little voice in your head, the one that's your toughest critic, CBT shows us that it's often running on these old automatic programs called core beliefs. Things like, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm unlovable." We usually pick these up from past experiences, and they become the filter for how we see everything. But here's the game changer. They are beliefs, not facts. And this is where the magic happens. This slide shows you the core technique of CBT in action. It's called reframing. On the left, you've got that automatic negative thought. And on the right, a conscious, deliberate shift. You're not pretending a problem doesn't exist, you're just choosing a kinder, more balanced, and frankly, more accurate way to look at it.
Okay, so once we start challenging that inner critic, the next step is learning to accept ourselves right here, right now, with all our imperfections and messy bits. And that brings us to our second pillar, which pulls from another amazing approach called Dialectical Behaviour Therapy, or DBT for short. At the heart of this pillar is a skill called radical acceptance. Now, radical doesn't mean you have to love the situation or pretend you like your flaws, not at all. It just means you stop fighting reality. You let go of that exhausting war you're waging against what is. It's the simple but incredibly powerful act of just saying, okay, this is what's happening, and it is okay.
So how do we actually do this? Well, let's say you messed up at work. Instead of spiraling, you'd start by recognizing you're fighting the fact that it happened. Step 2, just acknowledge it. I made a mistake. Step 3, validate how you feel. It makes total sense that I feel embarrassed right now. Then you just breathe through it. And that last step is so important. You repeat it. This is a mental muscle you have to build. And this is the payoff. Just think about how much energy we waste arguing with reality, wishing things were different. Radical acceptance frees up all that energy. Instead of being stuck in that storm of self-criticism, you create this calm space where you can actually heal and grow because you're not fighting yourself anymore. All right, so we're challenging our inner critic and we're accepting our reality. What's next? Now we learn to treat ourselves with active kindness. This is our third pillar, practicing self-compassion. And this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's so powerful that it's been the focus of a ton of scientific research.
Which brings us to this number, 72. A huge scoping review, which is basically a study of other studies, sifted through the findings from 72 different peer-reviewed articles. The goal was to see if there's a real, measurable link between how we treat ourselves and how our relationships with others actually function. So what even is self-compassion? Researchers break it down into these three parts. First, self-kindness. It's literally just being warm and supportive to yourself when you're having a hard time, instead of beating yourself up. Second, common humanity. This is remembering that messing up and feeling pain is part of being human. You're not alone in it. And third, mindfulness. Being able to notice your tough emotions without getting totally swept away by them. And the results of that massive review were crystal clear. Self-compassion is not just some private, internal thing. The research shows it's directly tied to real-world results. Healthier family life, being better at resolving conflicts, and having more secure relationships. It totally makes sense, right? When we're kinder to ourselves, we just have more capacity to be patient and kind with the people we love.
So the key is to actually do it. And here's a super simple exercise from the workbook. You just find a quiet moment, close your eyes, and repeat these phrases to yourself. It might feel a little awkward at first, but what you're doing is literally training your brain to offer yourself kindness when you're struggling, instead of criticism.
Okay, let's tie this all together. Because the most amazing thing about these practices, changing our inner script, accepting ourselves, and being kind, is that the benefits don't just stop with us. They create this incredible ripple effect that touches every part of our lives.
Look, this whole journey absolutely starts with you. Building that foundation of self-worth is the most personal work there is. But as you can see here, it's a journey that doesn't end with you. That foundation is what all of your other healthy relationships will be built on.
And get this, for a powerful example. Research has found a clear pattern from one generation to the next. When parents practice self-compassion, they become more supportive caregivers. And that supportive home actually helps their kids develop their own self-compassion. I mean, think about that. Your self-love can literally help break negative cycles for the people who come after you. And this ripple effect goes everywhere. That research we talked about links self-compassion to happier romantic relationships, healthier friendships, and better coping skills for anyone in a caregiving role. Basically, when you take care of your own needs, you become a better partner, friend, and parent. It's a win-win.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this beautiful and powerful idea from the poet Rupi Kaur. How you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. You're setting the standard. When you treat yourself with kindness, respect, and acceptance, you show everyone else that that's the bare minimum you require from them, too.
So we'll leave you with this final thought, a question to turn all this information into action. Forget about trying to do everything at once. Just focus on today, right now. What is one small, kind thing you are going to do for yourself?